Hi, I'm Anthony. I'm a martial artist, a distance athlete, and according to my friends, a total health nut. And I'm here to talk to you today about a strange, controversial, and often misunderstood diet, which is the vegan diet. I've been vegan for a little over a year now, and when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. But over the past year, I've spent a lot of time researching and fine-tuning my diet for an athletic and highly active lifestyle. And the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know, which is kind of scary because I also realize that most Americans really have no idea what's in their food and the process that goes into producing that food. So I'm hoping that by the end of this speech, you will walk away better informed and better able to make an informed decision on your own diet. So I'm going to talk to you about three things. One, I'm going to define what a vegan diet is, because a lot of people either have no idea or have a misunderstanding of what it is. Number two, we're going to talk about some of the reasons people have for becoming vegan. And number three, we're going to talk about how to minimize the risks of this diet while maximizing the benefits. So what is a vegan diet? It is a diet that is free of animals or animal product. Anything that used to be an animal or came from an animal would fall outside of the parameters of this diet. So obviously meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, even honey, which comes from bee vomit, would all be off limits. Now, some people take this a little bit further than others. Some people won't touch anything that's been processed on the same factory line as dairy or eggs. I don't go that far. If it's not a main ingredient in the product, if there's trace amounts of dairy, I'm okay with that as long as it's not an actual ingredient in the final product. So now that we know what a vegan diet is, let's talk about some of the reasons people have for going that route. Probably the biggest reason would be for ethical reasons. Obviously you have the PETA organization is all about animal rights, animal welfare. That's the reason I got into it, is I saw a video of what goes on a factory farm and I wasn't really okay with that. So that's probably the biggest reason people have for choosing this diet. Another big reason though would be for health reasons. A vegan diet is almost guaranteed to protect you against heart disease and clogged arteries. To a lesser extent, research has shown that it goes a long way in preventing cancer, especially if you eat dark, leafy green vegetables. And finally, the third reason that a lot of people have for going vegan, and it's actually, I should say, more of a bonus on the side, would be for environmental reasons. According to the UN, we are all going to be vegetarians by 2050 because the water it takes to produce a pound of meat, beef, chicken, whatever, is so much greater than the water and the energy it takes to produce a pound of crops. And water shortage is going to be a big problem in the future, and a vegan lifestyle goes a long way toward reducing that threat. And so now let's talk about some of the reasons people... No. Okay. We just talked about that. Now let's talk about how to minimize the risks of this diet and how to maximize the benefits. Alright, so the biggest question I get normally when I tell people that I'm a vegan is, where do you get your protein? And this is silly for two reasons. Number one, Americans have this inflated idea of how much protein you need. Unless you're a bodybuilder or a lineman, which to be honest aren't the healthiest things you can be in the first place, you don't need that much protein. And any protein you consume over what you need is worthless. It doesn't go straight to your biceps to give you more muscle. It's just a waste. Number two, plants have a lot more protein than people might think. A slice of bread has 5 grams of protein. A cup of soy milk has 8 grams of protein. Even a cup of spinach has 3 grams of protein. So as long as you're eating enough calories to sustain yourself throughout the day, enough of those calories should be coming from protein if you're eating a balanced vegan diet. And this brings me to the second so-called risk of the vegan diet, which is that you won't get enough calcium. And, you know, spinach has plenty of calcium, broccoli, kale, all have plenty of calcium. Bananas, there's no reason you shouldn't get enough calcium in your diet. And actually, milk is not so good for your bones. It does have plenty of calcium, but the animal protein in milk makes your blood more acidic. And when your blood is more acidic, it draws from minerals that are stored in your body to help alkalize your blood level and bring the pH back down to just over 7, about 7.3, 7.4. And so when you drink milk, yeah, you're getting more calcium, but then your blood has to draw from the calcium that's already stored in your bones. And one of the biggest pieces of evidence of this from an article on News Medical is that black people who are mostly lactose intolerant have a much lower rates of osteoporosis than do white people who drink a lot of milk. So there's that. Another big one is iron. Where do you get your iron? Especially for women and especially for pregnant women. And it is true that vegans and vegetarians have a harder time getting enough iron because the iron found in plant foods is non-heme iron, which is less readily absorbed by the human body. And there's two ways to get around this. Number one, caffeine really has an adverse effect on iron absorption. So don't drink coffee with a meal that is high in iron. Drink it an hour before or an hour after, same with tea. And the other thing, and this should be easy for a vegan, is to consume foods that are high in vitamin C with foods that are high in iron. Vitamin C binds to the iron, it makes it easier for your body to absorb, and like I said, this should be easy for a vegan. Eat an apple, eat an orange, eat a banana, eat spinach, anything with a food that is high in iron, like walnuts, cashews, almonds, etc. The only supplement a vegan should need would be vitamin B12. It's the one thing that you can't get from plant foods. You can only find it in animal foods, and it is absolutely essential to your health. Your nervous system depends on vitamin B12 to work, and that's why I take vitamin B12 pills. These are the vegan edition. It's just the pure vitamin. It's made in a laboratory. It's the one thing I'll eat that comes from a laboratory. So if you're thinking about going vegan, this is absolutely a must. Don't forget this. You could really have negative effects on your health if you don't get enough vitamin B12. So today we've defined a vegan diet. We've discussed some of the reasons people have for choosing the vegan diet, and we've examined how you can maximize the benefits of this diet while minimizing the risks. And now that you have this information, you can make a better informed decision about your own life and your own dietary habits. Thank you.